saying that it feels right.
Good morning, everybody. Hi. Everybody asks me, why do I wear my headphones? Because they sound great. And I want to hear you guys. But really, I don't need them right now because I don't have anybody else to listen to. It's just me. If you'd like to join in the little program that we have here, please, by all means, don't hesitate. Come on in and let us know who you are, what you're doing, how you've been encouraged, how you do encourage. These are all the questions that we want to know here on this program called Be Encouraged. There's many things, often comes along where we have moments in our lives where we've been encouraged. And you have a sense in your mind, in your heart, that you would like to return the favor, as it were. Pay it forward. I know I feel that way whenever I feel encouraged. At least in the past, when I felt encouraged, I wanted to pass it forward. I wanted to encourage someone else, and so I made it a mission of my own to do that. And what I wanted to, so as I did. Go forward. Hello, David Ing. How are you this morning, my friend? As I moved forward, I began to not only pray about it, but because the greatest encourager is up and out and everywhere, right next to you, whatever. And I wanted to learn more about encouraging. I wanted to learn more about how do we lift up those who are not uplifted, I guess. People down in the dumps, people who are struggling, maybe even just people who are just in that, that flat line almost in a way, in the way that they just kind of just go about their day to day. They're not encouraged to do anything more than that. They feel like they're obligated to make whatever they're making, do whatever they're doing, and they just don't. Their heart's not in it, and therefore the heart is kind of becomes dormant, as it were. And those people need a little encouragement, and you see them walking down the street every day. When I'm out and about driving, I see somebody sitting in their car, just kind of looking off into space like, what am I on this earth for? And these are the questions that all of us ask each other, and we ask ourselves, what's my purpose? The thing that you need to do, I can tell you a really good book to read is a book by an author whose name is Rick Warren. He's also a pastor, and he wrote a book called Purpose Driven Life. And it really is an examination of what is your purpose, but it's an examination of your own. It's the book guides you through to help you examine for yourself what is your purpose. And I still don't know that I am completely aware of what my purpose is. I just know that some of my purposes, or one at least, is to be encouraging. One, of course, is to be a good father to my children, a good husband to my wife, and a good son-in-law, and so on, and so on, and so on. A good son, I almost said daughter. I don't really identify that way. But to be truthful with yourself and know what it is that you, for such a time as this, there's a great book, a great song called "For Such a Time as This" by Wayne Watson. If you want to look that up and play that for yourself, it's a fantastic song. And it's all about, for such a time as this, we were put upon this earth to do what we need to do and find and figure out what our purpose is. I think all of us have a similar purpose, as in being dedicated to God, because that is the one overwhelming, over top of everything else, greatest of all commandments is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul. Now, without getting too, spiritual in this whole thing, that's the crux, however. And the crux of the matter is that's where you need to make your first purpose. Your number one purpose is to do that. And your next purpose, I believe, is your family. And, a lot of us have a very diverse family. A lot of us have family that, family and friends. There's friends that are so close to us that we consider them family. And so therefore it's a real way for us to put them at a high priority. And then, and you are part of that as well. So first priority should be God, always should be. And unfortunately in this day and age, there's too much stuff going on. Hey, Jason Scott Watson, what's up, brother? There's too much going on in this world that's drawing us away from that purpose. There's people telling us, hey, you need to get that Porsche. You need to get that new, this is for Jason, that new Fender Stratocaster. You need to get whatever these become in our minds. We start to put those at the top of the list as what we want to get, what we want to do, what our purpose is. I want that Porsche, or I want that Bentley or whatever it is. That's always been my dream, Bentley, but I don't push to get it if I get one, whatever. Because I'll never will. I probably never even drive one. I've driven lots of cars, lots of different, very exotic cars. A Bentley, I've never even been in a Bentley. So I'm glad too. I'm glad, because it would just probably make me even over the top more. Excuse me. Sorry. So there's lots of things in this world that we feel like are the most important things. They're our purpose, but we have to start with what is the number one purpose for us as human beings on this earth, and that is to love God, because God is our ally. He is on our side, and we need him on our side here on this earth, because this earth is the playground for everything that's not God. So, hear that as you will, because there's so much to it. Write a song, Jason. And there's so much to that statement I just made. It's hard to examine. There's a clear-cut answer to what the number one purpose is. And then the second one, which is what do we let our purpose be? And that's where we have control. We have the right we have the ability to make choices in our lives that put us on the path that we need to be on. And, we know what that path is when we put first God, because we put him first and we get revelation from that. And if we listen and we pay attention and we follow that revelation that we're given, and I'm not talking about the book of Revelation. I'm talking about the word. Look it up in the dictionary. Revelation is something you all of a sudden understand. And when we start to understand what our purpose is in life, a lot of the nastiness, things that are not the true purpose that we've been putting up on high pedestals and as it were, idol worshiping. It's kind of a stretch. Not really, though. And when we start looking at that Bentley, we stop looking at it once we put the right priorities on our lives. And we stop looking at that, at least, I mean, not completely. I still would love to have one, but it's not a priority. I mean, it's way down on the list, way, way, way down on my list. In fact, I would say it's not on the priority list. It's on the wish list. And there's a difference between a wish list and a priority list, as you probably are fully and well aware. So I don't know exactly what your purpose is. Well, yeah, I know what your number one purpose is because it's the same for everybody. It's easy to tell. I got a message from somebody here. I have an appointment on the 15th with nephrology. It's always exciting. So I also have an appointment with my dermatologist, but I don't know what day it is. And I got to get in to look at that. No, not that. This side. This morning after I got out of the shower, I was scratching on it. And I think that's blood. Anyway, all right. So let's get back to this. So when we make that our first priority, then we recognize kind of what other purposes that we have in our lives. One of mine, I believe, I have the gift of encouragement that's kind of been bestowed upon me, I guess. I've honed it myself. I've learned different ways to encourage people. In this day and age, also, there's ways to, especially since they've, with all the news and the way things are projected to people and the way things are told to people, we start to believe in the mighty idol of media. And when they start telling you things, what I would like to do is I'd like to make a whole list of all the things that the media is telling us to do and then realize, oh, these contradict each other. Oh, these contradict each other. And what I think you'll find, a lot of people say that biblically, there's a lot of contradictions. No, not when it's seen in the whole scheme. You got to read the whole book, y'all. It's just like any other book. If you don't read the whole book, you don't get the whole story. And if you don't get the whole story, then you start misquoting the book. And the book is just a book, But in this case, in the Bible, the case is the book is actually a biography. It's a biography of a life of Jesus Christ. And so we won't get too much into that. However, one of the greatest encouragers, he was one of the greatest encouragers. And you look to that life and you learn how to encourage people. He was also a great salesman. So those guys and gals who are in the sales business, reach out and study the Bible. It'll tell you how to sell. I can guarantee that. It's absolutely astounding. Now, it won't teach you how to sell to someone who doesn't need something. And a lot of people do that, but it will tell you how to help people get what they need. And that will benefit you grossly, incredibly. It will benefit you in the long run. So it's really interesting to recognize also that as you walk in your life and you walk with a purpose, that things, I wouldn't say easier, because if you're walking in your purpose, then you're going to find some pushback. And if you're walking in genuine purpose with the number one goal and the number one idea is putting God number one first, then you're going to get pushback. And that's all there is to it. And that pushback can be negative if you let it be. But you can also make it a positive, because you can, respond in a positive, loving way, and that people can't then beat up on you without feeling bad, and they won't do that unless. And there is my good friend Tora. I wasn't sure if I was going to see from him today or not. But I'm glad that he's there. He kind of late on the uptake, but he's here, and I'm happy to see that. So my friends David Ventura and Jason Scott Watson was watching earlier. May still be, I don't know, but these guys, all of these guys, are pretty good at encouraging people, especially Tura. I'll give him the highest shout out. He's really good at having a focus on what it means and what it means to be to care about people, and he does do that. And I don't know if there's ways to approach people who don't care about purpose. You know, the people that just want to make money, that's not their purpose. It's nobody's purpose. And if that's what their goal is, see, some people's goals are not their purpose. And I think there's a big switch that gets flipped when you're trying to reach goals that you've created, goals that you've come up with that have nothing to do with your purpose. So there's goals. One of my goals is to find and live in my purpose. And so there's nothing wrong with writing down your goals. That's a good thing. Write down your goals, but make sure that your goals are authentic, and make sure your goals are reachable. And when your goal is something like finding your purpose, that's reachable, because I believe that the stars aligned for everybody so that they can reach and find their purpose. But the one thing we need to understand about reaching and finding your purpose, is we have to keep our eyes open, our ears open to hear and see the messages that are being inundated really on us about what our purpose is. Because once we ask ourselves and we ask God, what is my purpose? You know what? He answers that question. And those questions can also be referred to as prayers, of course. But if you're just not into the whole vernacular that they have in the church and in religion and all that stuff, just call it an ask. You're just asking. You're asking the dude who knows everything a question. And sometimes he says you're not prepared for that answer. And sometimes he says, here's the answer. And sometimes he says, no, you're not getting the answer till you get here. And that's an interesting way to look at it, I know, because people in this day and age, because of the media or whatever, when I say the media, I mean the world. I don't mean just media per se, but it's our input. What are we taking in? All the stuff that we take in is telling us every day that we have to have, we need this, we need this, we need this. And in reality, all we need is God. But if we do that, if we separate our lives from the junk and we focus in on that purpose, then what you'll find is missions are given to you. Missions. You know what I mean by missions, I think. You'll have directives. Just like if you were at work, your boss gives a directive, okay? Well, I'm in my life and I've got a boss. And when I ask the boss questions, he gives me directives. And sometimes he tells me, let's do that, or let's not do that. But either way, he lets me know the answer. There's a good line of communication in that corporate world, as it were, which is the world that we live in, our lives. And there's outstanding, incredible open communication with that. So Tura tells us that his motto is you just have to smile and to never give up, keep on working until you succeed. Well, there you go. You just keep going, but make sure that you're headed in the direction that you were purposed to head in. You know, we were just talking about the fact that there's a lot of people out there who want stuff that they shouldn't have. They want things that aren't meant for them. And it's an interesting way to look at it, of course, but it's also a way to look at things so we are more cognizant of finding out our purpose, finding out what it is that we're supposed to mesh into and what it is we're supposed to intertwine our life with, so that number one, it makes our lives better, and number two, it makes other people's lives better. And so that's why I do this show. Is one of the reasons I do this show is because I enjoy doing it. And I hope that maybe someone that is listening or watching gets something from it as well. So that's my whole goal, which I believe is my purpose, to do. There's lots of things that I'm purposed to do, I believe. And I've checked it. You know, I go to the people who I trust the most and who have what I consider a real heart for understanding purpose. And this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm here. So anyway, we're getting back to the end of the show today. I think I've said enough today. I'm looking down at the clock, by the way. That's what my eyesight is bad, so I got to get close to see what time it is. And we're almost out of time. I didn't have any fun stories to tell you today, but tomorrow we will. By the way, tomorrow will be just me as well, unless I find someone to join me tomorrow. Derek Pearson's in the middle of some heavy-duty high school state championship stuff out in Nebraska, and his shows are starting at 9 a.m. Our time. So, and they're lasting most of the day. So that's what's going on with him, and we would love to have him on. And as far as on Mondays, we normally have Clark Crawford, and Clark is in the middle of some heavy duty work. I think there's something about his work that he normally does, and they're really, really, really busy down in Texas after all of the infrastructure collapse because of the ice storms. So one of the things that Clark and the company he works with, they help rebuild infrastructure and other things. So his company's been really, really busy. So he is just crazy working. So he won't be with us on Mondays for this month, maybe, because that's maybe how long it's going to take for him to get everybody rolling. And once everybody's rolling, he's cool, but he's got to be on the phone getting everybody rolling, which is now is the prime time for that. All right. So thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in to Be Encouraged this morning. You guys are the reason I do this, and I really appreciate your good humor. I appreciate your comments. And as always, I appreciate you. Have a wonderful, peaceful, beautiful day.